US consumer confidence is on the rise. What does this mean for the Australian economy? The old adage goes that if Australia sneezes, the rest of the world gets a cold. Now, while these days that might be more directed at China, there's no doubt that Uncle Sam's economy still has a huge impact on global spending and global economies. So it was interesting when just last week, the University of Michigan released their latest consumer sentiment results. And guess what? They're finally on the rise. As consumer spending in the US remains resilient to rising inflation, with the June retail sales and results being stronger than expected, consumer sentiment has finally started to edge upwards, with the University of Michigan's latest consumer sentiment results now showing an improvement to 51.1 from its all-time low of 50 in the previous month. Rising US inflation, which in last month set a 40-year high of 9.1%, has been the main culprit behind deteriorating consumer sentiment in the US. Households are now dedicating a much larger proportion of their spending or available income to things like fuel and the cost of living, amid a decline in purchasing power as wages have just not been able to keep pace with the growth of inflation. The share of respondents who blamed inflation for their lack of consumer sentiment rose to 49%, which is the largest cohort since the Great Depression. But before you start getting too depressed, there is definitely a silver lining or light at the end of the tunnel. Consumers' inflation expectation dropped for the first time down to 5.2%, its lowest level since February, meaning people can see that inflation will eventually be brought under control and that the economy should return to a balance. Would the index have produced the same result if it was brought out in Australia? Why don't you let me know in the comments below? Like or share for more videos.